Problem. Hallelujah. Praise, glory, and honor to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And honor and glory of his only begotten beloved Son, long live the King, 2018 year of the truth. Honor and humility, STL. Second of the Nazarene, Order Melchizedek Assembly out the STL. Hebrew Israelite Radio Network, House of Zion Homeschool, many more. I'm your brother, faithful servant, Malachi Maccabee to my left.
Ruben Ben Israel, shalom,
shalom, family. So y'all see what we got up for the new moon and the feast of weeks, or Kag Shavuot, feast of weeks. You know, today is the feast of Pentecost, which is not a denomination out of what's called Christian sanity. You understand? It's a feast. You understand? It's a feast. So we're gonna get into some understanding off that. We're gonna go into the moons first, because a lot of people been asking questions about the new moon. What is it? Is there a difference between the new moon and the full moon? You know what I'm saying? All of it. Because there's a lot of confusion going on. That's understandable. Especially when you new come into the understanding and the walk. You don't know like who do I listen to? He say this, she say that. You understand? So just make sure you keep your mind. Make sure you keep your mind focused on the scriptures, and you know, just take the information we give out today, write it down, go back over it, study, pray about it. You understand? Get some understanding. But the count from Passover to the Feast of Weeks or Pentecost is still controversial until this day. Certain people go by the new moon to dictate every weekly Sabbath. You feel me? Some people just strictly use the solar, when both of them actually were given as the Most High's calendar, as signs and signals. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into this. As y'all see, we got us a calendar. Y'all see what's going on in the background right here. This basically 2018 year plan or yearly plan or whatever. And based off how we kept Passover, we got the days lined all the way up to the 50th day when to start the count. We even got the new moons up here. Probably can't see it, but it's cool. We're going to move the camera closer early. We got the new moons up here too as well. And we're going to count from the way we count and get our 7 weeks plus 1 day, 50 days, because that's what Pentecost actually means, count 50 days. Then we're going to count it based off the new moon, not the new moon, but the lunar doctrine, that the Sabbath switch every month. And we're going to see if you can get 50 days after 7 Sabbaths. You understand? Because according to the new moon understanding, each new moon is a Sabbath as well. And that dictates the weekly Sabbath. You feel me? So we're going to get into this real quick. We're going to hit a few scriptures over the new moons, do Psalms 81 real quick, Hebrew 1 through 3. And then we're going to show new moon in the scripture. Then we're going to show full moon. Because there's an ideology out here today that claim that the full moon is the new moon. And thus they keeping Pesach like 2 days ago. You understand? Because they believe that the new moon actually is the full moon, which don't make sense either. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, hey, there's many different schools of thought. It ain't the, you know, crap on nobody or nothing like that. But if anybody wants to know, well, why do we do what we do? Why are y'all dates different than anybody else's? You feel me? We're going to go ahead and try our best to go and give a thorough breakdown on what we do. You understand? Here in Honor and Humility STL, the Order Melchizedek Assembly. Going to give a thorough breakdown. And some of the things you may disagree with, because you may look at the new moon different than us. You may say it's this moon. Some say it's this moon. Some say it's that moon. You feel me? But we're going to go over what we have. The scripture as being the source and any resources that we got. You feel me? Try to bring some clarification to this confusion that's going on within Israel. Because every year around the feast days, everybody always run up and say, well, so-and-so keeping feast day. They kept theirs 2 weeks ago. Well, you know, and for real, like, we really don't even care who do what. Like, as a body, as an assembly, we come to an agreement based off what the scriptures and what we've seen, and we roll with that. You know what I'm saying? We really ain't in competition with nobody. Well, so-and-so doing theirs. Well, that's good for them, man. You know what I'm saying? In the end, matter of fact, let's do that first. Colossians 2. In the end, we're not here to judge anybody based off new moons or feast days or Sabbaths or any of that. You feel me? Judge meaning put people away, cut people off from the body because they see things a little different. You understand? Because the shadow is of the Messiah. Everything points towards the Messiah. So once you got that understanding, then you can be like, okay, well, look, if the sister or the brother look at it slightly different, it's all good. The only problem is when we come like that in that spirit, These Negroes be wanting to take our head off. You feel me? You would think we was the one saying, if you don't do it like us, you're damned. We don't even say that. We just say, look, as long as you trying your best to do it, if you want to know why we teach what we teach, sit down and ask. So that's what this, you know what I'm saying, this lesson is all about. All right. Anything you want to say, bro?
Well, I just want to say
because you're the one actually. It was Ruban Ben Israel. Actually, you know, he be Facebook banging all the time. He like, bro, we need to do so, man. You know. So go ahead.
Definitely, though. I want to get down and see. I see a lot of people going off the date and stuff like that, and you know for sure, some people say you can't do it outside the Jerusalem.
Yeah.
You know, just all the different things. You know, you get kind of like with all of those this or that, that or this. You know, you want to get exactly down to the reason why things are, because the elements never change, though. You know what I'm saying? We can look at the elements that we may have gotten off our course, but the elements that we gotten off course, you know, they still stay the same. So it's something we can kind of get to the understanding of the way we could try to get up on a point of doing. But it's spirituality, and nobody really looks at the spirituality behind it. Everybody look at the outer cup or the actual physical doing, instead of understanding what spirit we need to be in at doing these things. Like you could be okay, so whatever. I mean, if you're doing everything on the physical correct and your spirit ain't good, then what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's like you want to get, not to say get away from the physical actual doing, because it says know and do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the actual know and the spirit behind the doing, that's what we need to be in before we can look at the outer physical, the inner physical. But that's what that's where I really want to be at with that, when you get to talking about where you actually do it on, and you know, we understand that.
Yeah, once again, as many schools of thought out here, you may have came in through a different, you know what I'm saying, school of understanding, different camp, you know what I'm saying, different body of believers or whatever. You feel me? And then you realize, well, your understanding went further than what it was that they actually taught you. And sometimes feeling of resentment come in. Like, I can't believe them. But look, I understand it's just a stepping stone getting you the word the Most High God wants you. You understand? And we even over the years in certain aspects of things, like, dang, we was looking at that wrong. You feel me? We got to get that together. Now, I mean, it's never a smooth transition. We gonna pull swords into the end to somebody like, you know what? Dang, look at that. That makes sense. You feel me? But we didn't had to adjust a few things over the years and be like, you know what? Dang, we was looking at that totally wrong. I mean, I see why you was looking at it like that, but based off everything else, man, it ain't adding up. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do Colossians 2, verse 16 through 17. This is a scripture that the Sunday church, like, they love to use this scripture because they believe it gives them an out, you understand, from being obedient to what the thus saith the Most High. And actually, it doesn't. This actually is talking to the believers and just letting the believers know. You feel me? Don't be judging one another based off these things. Because Israel always been divided in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Different thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Scribes, Pharisees, Sadducees, Essenes. You understand? Zealots, Nazarene. You got all type of different schools of thought or doctrines floating around. You understand? So Israel always been somewhat divided. Some way, shape, form, or fashion. So we're not supposed to devour one another over there. If you kept Passover a week before us, hey man, salute. You know, so long as you're trying and understanding. You feel me? There's a big controversy going over in the land right now. Also, because it's a brother over there right now saying it's still wintertime. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cold. But when you get in the Enoch, the 80th chapter, it actually goes into how the season's going to start being disturbed. Based off iniquity, based off the iniquity of man. Feel me? So you start, it's cold here in the STL right now, man. Like the wind chill, like, boy. Well, he had a brood that Drake took off work. He was at work early and said, man, I gotta go. It's too cold, you know what I'm saying? But in November, it was 70 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, but if you look at it according to our people, then if you would please us, because we love to be pleased. So you please our people, then we want to have two different seasons. We'll have a summer and we'll have winter. You know, we don't really respect the fall and spring, because in the springtime it gives you different types of climate. They don't give you just nice 70-degree weather. That's what we think. You know what I'm saying? That's what's in our mind, but it's not there. That's not even that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get cold days and you think we in the winter, we just making the transition from winter into, you know what I'm saying, into the spring. So you get everything like spring, but basically bring you cold, rainy days. You know what I'm saying? You're not really getting that much sunny days until we get a little closer to the summertime. Then once you get into that time, then you really get a little closer to more sun. You know, but you're not really dealing with that. So we really in a rush for a lot of things. But look, check it out. We get to saying a lot of stuff, but when you look at your meteorologist tonight, you checking out the Weather Channel, then look at what they have record high and record low. Now look at the record low for today. We figure that it's cold, but you may find a record low that had snow outside today. Thick snow. You know what I'm saying? What would them people been saying? It might have been 1956. Well, they say, oh, the end of the world gonna be it's close. And here we is in 2018. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we understand it's close, but look at the amount of years from that gap, from record low of whatever the low gonna be for today. You know what I'm saying? Let's check that out though. It's something we can do.
All right, so we're going to start this off in Colossians, if we can. Colossians chapter 2. Shabbat, not Shabbat, but shalom to the worldwide assembly. Shalom, shalom, all praise to the Most High. Y'all stay focused out there, right on for y'all prayer and supports, as always. All right, let's go to Colossians 2. Let's read 16 and 17. Let me get this out of the Zondervan too real quick.
Colossians chapter 2 and verse 16 say, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an holy day.
So it says judge you. You understand? And look, don't get simple. Our meats are not abominable meats. You feel me? Everything according to the faith or the belief. Or the belief is on our diet is in Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. So when it's speaking of meat, it's speaking about what the Most High God made for meat. If that's the case, anything could be meat. Booty meat. You can be accountable if that's the case. So we're just saying when it comes down to lawful meat, because certain people want to judge you based off you eating what God allows you to eat. So let nobody judge you in there. When we talk about judgment, we talking about judgment being administered, being cut off. I let no man judge you. Come on, Hebrew.
Or of the new moon.
Or of the new moon. Right? So we're not supposed to Israel. We're not supposed to be judging and cutting one another off because we see the new moon different. You feel me? We see that, or we may see certain things different concerning the scripture, right? We all see eye to eye in that day, according to Isaiah the 52nd chapter. That day ain't came. Stay sincere and keep striving. Come on, out.
Or of the Sabbath days.
Or the Sabbath days. Go ahead.
Which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Yahushua.
But the body is of the Messiah. See that? So everything has to do, or is everything that we're doing literally on a literal level is a spiritual representation of Messiah. But you talking about the Passover, unblemished lamb, Messiah, first fruits from the grave, Messiah. Feel me? Pentecost or the Feast of Weeks, dealing with the fiery tongues. You understand? Fiery word, just like the law was given on Mount Sinai, fiery law. You understand? The Feast of Tabernacles, Messiah bringing the kingdom to earth. Tabernacle of God is with man. The memorial blowing the trumpets. The trumpet's gonna blow before the return of the Messiah. Day of Atonement. We have received the atonement through the Messiah. Everything is a shadow of Messiah. So what the Most High gave us through Moses, or something physical, was a physical representation of something that was on a higher spiritual level and dealing with the only begotten Son. We're saying, why, if you know that, how can you let somebody cut you off? Let no man judge you. You feel me? As long as you keep yourself obedient to the best of your ability, nobody can cut you off from the body of Messiah. It is what it is. All right, let's get Psalms 81. Psalms 81, real quick. Right? Psalms 81, 1 through 4, I believe it is.
Psalms 81 and verse 1. Say, sing aloud unto Yah, our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the tremble, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Blow up the trumpet where?
In the new moon.
In the new moon. Blow the trumpet up in the new moon. So you may ask, what is the new moon? Right? You grew up knowing what a full moon is, but what is the new moon? Right? Blow up a trumpet in the new moon. Come on now.
In the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
Come on.
For this was a statute for Israel.
Yeah, so Israel was supposed to keep the new moon. That's a statute. That's an order. You feel me? That's how you gonna lose track of one of the most high signs he gave in the heavens so we can know what time it was or what season it was. Right? Come on, Hebrew.
And a law of the God of Jacob.
Yeah, the law of the God of Jacob. You see that? The new moon. Right? So the moon was given as a sign for feast. Now you have what's called a full moon, and you have what's called a new moon. What is the new moon? Right? We're gonna read a couple more scriptures about this new moon, and then we're gonna go see what it is. Because a lot of folks claim it's this or it's that, but have never really showed you. Make somebody show you. Show me what the new moon is. I know new moon is in the scripture. I know there are new moon feasts. A little bit of research to show you that, but what is it? Is it the dark full moon? Is it the moon with the sliver on it, the first sign of light? Or is it the full moon? Right? Somebody should be able to show you that some way, shape, form, or fashion. You understand? All right, so let's drop there. We're going to drop Psalms 81. Let's go down here to Numbers. Numbers 10 and 10. Numbers 10 and 10 is where we're going next. And then we're going to read a few definitions. I got a few definitions. Akuban going to read Numbers 10 and 10. All right. Remember, the name of the title is the new moon and the feast of weeks. Because once we get down to the feast of weeks, or what's called Pentecost today, which means count 50, it's something that you must do after you observe the Passover. You understand? You must start your count down to what's called the feast of weeks, and you should land on 50. By the time that day should be 50 days, based off something that you did the Sabbath following Passover. The Sabbath following Passover, you're supposed to start a count down to the next feast day. When the next feast day, we actually keeping it on May 27th, 2018. All right, which is a so-called Sunday or first day of the week, Yom Rishon. All right, Numbers 10 and 10. What did it say?
Numbers chapter 10 and verse 10.
Yeah.
It said, also, in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings.
And in the beginning of your months, new moon, you understand, means new month. Right? It don't mean new week, but it does mean a new month. Because you know a month can come in and you could be in the middle of the week. A new month can come in on a Wednesday. You understand? But the week don't stop. So when it says at the beginning of your months, that's going into the new moons, you're supposed to blow the trumpets. All right, go ahead.
And all the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before Yahweh. And I am the Lord your God.
No doubt. Let's go to 1 Samuel 20 real quick. 1 Samuel 20, start around verse 1. We're going to show this feast of this new moon. We're going to show this feast of this new moon. All right. And once you get there, read this definition for us. Right? Read this definition once you get there. Praise to the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All praise is due. Right here, Pentecost, right there.
You want to read this first?
Yeah, read this first, and then we'll get into the new moon. I just wanted to show them what Pentecost was real quick.
This here is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
Yeah.
We're gonna read what is the Feast of Pentecost.
No doubt.
It said other names for this are the Feast of Weeks, the day of the first fruits.
Yeah, so the Feast of Weeks, you hear people saying Kag Shabuot. Shabuah means week. Shabuot means weeks. Kag means feast. You feel me? So Feast of Weeks, Kag Shabuot. Go ahead, out.
And the Feast of Harvest. It was celebrated on the 6th day of the month of Sivan. That's our June. 7 weeks after the offering of the waved sheaf.
Yeah, 7 weeks after that. 7 weeks plus 1 day. You understand? So all these things, even when it says Abib, it correlates between March and April. You feel me? When it says Sivan, it correlates between May and June. Just all depend on whenever the heavenly lights line up. You feel me? Whenever that first new moon come in. Go ahead, out.
After the Passover, the name Pentecost, meaning 50th, originated from the fact that there was an interval of 50 days between the two.
Yeah, you feel me? Roughly 50 days. It all goes down into the Sabbath following Passover. You're supposed to start a count. The Sabbath following your Passover. That's when you start counting. You understand? Down 50 to the next feast day. All right, go ahead, Al.
The feast lasted a single day. I got an example, Deuteronomy 16.
That's right.
9 through 12.
Yeah.
And marked the completion of the wheat harvest. And the characteristic ritual of this feast was the offering and waving of 2 loaves of leavened bread made from the ripe grain which had just been harvested.
Yeah, so once we harvest, see, we are agricultural people. You feel me? And the heavens and the earth would line up. We harvest a crop, we would take the best, the first fruits, the best fruits of our crops to the priest, and he will do a wave offering it to the Most High, thanking the Most High for a successful harvest. Because if you got a successful harvest, your tribe eats. You understand? But the heavens and the earth had to bear witness. So whenever we had a harvest, we had a feast. All right, go ahead, Doc.
From the ripe grains which had just been harvested, this was done by the priest in the name of the congregation. In addition to these wave offerings, the people were enjoined to give the Lord an offering of the first fruit of their produce.
Yeah, that's the Most High want us to give, not the scraps. You understand? When he say the first fruits, the first fruits of your entire harvest, you feel me, that are ready to be harvested. First one's ripe. He get the first pickings. All right, he don't get the scraps. He don't get the spoiled vegetables, anything that's spoiled. He get the best. All right, go ahead.
It says the amount of the offering was not designated.
That's it for that?
That's it for that.
All right, that's it for that. Let's go to this 1 Samuel 20. Hold your spot right there. We'll read something else later on. I just want to let y'all know about this Pentecost. The next feast is the Feast of Weeks. It's called Pentecost. You feel me? But in Hebrew, it's the Feast of Weeks. All right, so we're going to go to Numbers 10. You got Numbers 10?
We just did the number 10.
I mean, 1 Samuel 20. My bad. 1 Samuel 20th chapter. Start at verse 1 for me.
1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 1.
Yes, sir.
It says that David fled from Naoth in Ramah and came and said before Jonathan, what have I done? What is my iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father, that he seeketh my life? And he said unto him, Yahweh forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David sware moreover, and said, thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he said, let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee.
Come on.
And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon.
Tomorrow is what?
Is the new moon.
Tomorrow is the new moon. You see? So what we read in Psalms 81 about how the new moon is a law for the God of Jacob. You understand? Blow up a trumpet in the new moon. David understood this. David grew up in the culture. You understand? Tomorrow's the new moon. All right? Come on, Hebrew.
And I shall not fail to sit with the king at meat.
See, it's a feast. It ain't just, blowing the trumpet. You get together and enjoy. You understand? And it is treated like a Sabbath, but it's not. It doesn't dictate the weekly Sabbath. It doesn't dictate the weekly Sabbath. Go ahead, Hebrew.
But let me go.
Yeah.
That I may hide myself in the field until the third day at eve.
All right, jump down to verse 18 for me. We're just showing the new moon. We're just showing the new moons right now. Verse 18.
Verse 18. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon.
Tomorrow is what?
Is the new moon. And thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty.
Yeah, Saul was trying to kill David. You understand? And still in the midst of you hating your brother, You understand? Trying to kill him, you still decide you want to be obedient to the Most High. These actions is what the Most High made the Most High say, look, your feast is an abomination to me. Because how you going to keep the feast of the Most High but got blood on your mind to kill your straight brother? You understand? So if you keep in the feast, make sure you keep it sincere. All right, get that leaven about it. But notice new moon. New moon. Y'all see that, right? All right, jump down to verse 24 for me.
Verse 24.
Yeah.
So David hid himself in the field. And when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty.
And David's place was empty. You see, because David was on the run from Saul, he wouldn't even show up and observe and keep the new moon with them. It's like, I'm cool. He trying to kill me. I'm gonna fall on back. You understand? But the whole point of going to 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter, if somebody was to ask, well, show the new moon is a feast in the Bible. This is one spot. Right here, 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter. New moon feast. David's seat was empty because he was at war with Saul. Saul was at war with him. You understand? We also went to Psalms 81 and showed blow up the trumpet in the new moon. The solemn day is a law to God of Jacob. Numbers 10 and 10, where it went to, you blow the trumpet at the beginning of your months, right? So this is what I want to go show next, that the moon, the actual moon, is named after the month. The month is named after the moon. All right, give me Sirach 43 out of that real quick. Just real quick, Hebrew. Then we're going to start showing what this new moon is, man. Yes, new moon is in the scripture, but what is it? You know what I'm saying? What is it? What is the new moon? Right? That is, it's very controversial today. You understand? And it really is controversial because it's a few people. We need 43. 43. Yeah, 68. It's because some people do not read certain things. That's the problem. You understand? Certain people, and that ain't our fault. You dig? Like with us, we read anything that's attributed to the Bible as long as it don't break the law. You understand? It can't violate the law. You feel me? If I'm reading something and it's supposed to be a pseudepigrapha or an extra book, but it's okay in homosexuality, I know, burn that. It's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? If I'm reading something extra pseudepigrapha and it's talking about eat swine, burn that. That ain't the truth. Yeah. You see? So as long as it line up, you know what I'm saying, with the commands of the Most High, right? It's good to go. All right. Sirach 43, 6-8. Remember, it said at the beginning of your months. David knew about the new moon. Jonathan knew about the new moon. Saul knew about the new moon. Israel knew about it because it was a law. You understand? And that's how we keep out. The Most High has a calendar. No matter what day these heathens say it is, the Most High has his own calendar. And it's the sun, it's the moon, and it's the stars. And they were given to us for signals. It ain't just one alone. That's what a lot of brothers is coming up confused and going off at. And it's confusing a lot of newcomers because you're like, no, it's just the moon. No, it's just the sun when they both work together. You understand? To accomplish the Most High God's will. You got that Sirach 43. All right, what it say?
I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, Sirach 43 and verse 5 says, great is the Lord that made it, and at his commandment it runneth hastily. He made the moon also to serve in her seasons for a declaration of time.
All right, go ahead and read that verse again, man. That verse you started at.
The verse 5?
Yeah.
Verse 5 again. It says, great is the Lord that made it.
Made what? Go back up to verse 4. Make it 4.
Go to verse 4.
Go over when they talking about the sun, because he's talking about the sun too.
I'm gonna start at verse 1.
Come on with
it. Chapter 43, verse 1. It says, the pride of the height, the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven, with his glorious show. The sun when it appeareth, declaring at his rising a marvelous instrument.
Yeah.
The work of the Most High.
So, a lot of brothers start at verse 6 when it's dealing with the moon, but skip 1 through 5. That's dealing with the sun. You understand? The sun and the moon work together.
No doubt.
Like a husband and wife. You understand? The stars will be considered the children, but they all work together on one accord. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
At noon it parcheth the country.
Yeah, it do. When it's high noon, boy, yeah. You know it's the hottest of the day.
No doubt.
All right, go ahead.
And who can abide the burning heat thereof?
Whew.
Question.
Yeah.
That's all y'all waiting for that sun to come out. Oh, it's too cold. All right.
Yeah.
The sun coming.
Go ahead.
Yeah. A man blowing a furnace is in works of the heat, but the sun burneth the mountain 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors and sending forth bright beams. It dimmeth the eyes.
Yeah.
Definitely dimmeth the eyes.
Yeah.
Great is the Lord that made it. Yeah. And at his commandment it runneth hastily.
It runneth hastily. The sun actually is on a circuit. That's a whole nother topic. You understand? Because we were taught different. It was sitting still. But the sun actually has a circuit. But the moon has a circuit too. You taught something else in school though. That's a whole nother topic. Go ahead, Al.
He made the moon also to serve in her season.
That's right.
For a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
For a declaration of times and a signal. Sign means signal. Signal of the world. Right? Go ahead, Al.
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
A light that decreaseth in her perfection. You understand? And it said from the moon is the sign of feast. Now, this is a scripture that a lot of brothers go to say, well, that proves it's the dark moon. You understand? Because it says a light that decreaseth in her perfection, right? But just because it's perfect, it didn't say it was new. It's just it decreases and it's getting ready to be brought forth. You understand? Come on, Hebrew.
The month is called after her name.
The month is called after her name. You see that? So when it says in the Numbers 10 and 10, in the beginning of your months, you understand? Month is named after moon. You see? Month is named after moon. Go ahead, Al.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above.
Increasing wonderfully, decreasing in perfection, increasing wonderfully. That's all it said. It didn't say, it never described what the new moon was, though, or what it is. It just said it decreases in perfection and it decreases wonderfully.
But that's what it is, though, because its perfection is complete. And as it goes through the circuits or the cycles, it decreases in light. You know what I'm saying? So that's the order of it. You know what I'm saying? The decreasing of light inside of its perfection or inside of its completion, the cycle or the circuit that it goes through. That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. What verse was that?
We're in verse 8.
Okay, read 8 and we're gonna jump.
Well, we ended verse 8.
We just ended 8. Let's do Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. That's good. That's good. That's good. Genesis chapter 1, real quick. 14 through 19 show they were given for signs and signals, not just one of them, but they worked together. It will also show in ancient Israel where we use sundials to determine what time it was. You see? So we wasn't just using the moon and we wasn't just using the sun, we was using both. Even the stars lined up. Remember that? The heavens lined up when Messiah was born. Same thing happened when Abraham was born too. If you went to the book of Joshua, I know some folks ain't into that. That scares them too, even though it's saying the scripture is written in the book of Joshua. Again, but it ain't our fault if you don't read that. You don't, we ain't judging you. You feel me? But that we get down with that. We get down with the Enoch. We get down with Joshua, Jubilees. We get down. That's just what it is.
The Apocrypha.
The Apocrypha. You understand? It's just what it is. Now that may be above your pay grade. Because you've been taught that you only can read the 66 books. Because I know some people, that's all they read. And anything outside the 66 they call them those funny books. Then we know bros that read the 66 plus the Apocrypha. Right? Which was part of the 1611. I got the Apocrypha in there. You understand? But they don't go further than that. Right? We do all of it. You understand? And we encourage those that listen and our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? We ain't holding nobody back, man. Increasing your understanding. You know what I'm saying? Pray to your God, man. Ask him to open up your eyes and give you understanding concerning all type of stuff. You understand? But just don't start thinking you just the deal. You feel me? Because a lot of people get knowledge and get puffed up and then you can't tell them nothing then. That's a whole nother topic. All right. So where we at? Where we at?
Genesis chapter 1.
Genesis 1, start at 14 through 19. Genesis 1, 14 through 19. Let's get it done.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. It says, and Yahweh said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night.
Yeah.
And let them be for a sign and for seasons and for days and years.
Let them be. See, it said lights, plural. It didn't give, Most High didn't give one light for signs, seasons, days, months, years. He said, let them. And notice he said for signs, meaning signals. Seasons, meaning your appointments. Days, years. You feel me? So based off, we have our calendar. People say, well, I ain't got the calendar. Look up. You feel me? You actually have the Most High God's calendar because his creation don't disobey him. His creation don't disobey him. You understand? So you actually have the calendar. What has been stripped from you is knowledge of that. You don't know how to look at the heavens and say, okay, it's a new moon. You feel me? Or it's a full moon, or it's a blood moon, or this is the fourth new moon, so it's this season. And you don't know. We done lost that. We don't know how to do none of that now. All we know today is April the 16th, boy, 2018. That's all you know. Because the heathen told you. You understand? Instead of saying, no, actually, this may be the beginning of the second month. Man, let me see, we're April. Bang, new moon, maybe tomorrow, I think it is. It's April. Yeah, we looked it up. New moon tomorrow. Right? So actually, this is the last day of the first month of this year. New moon tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? At sundown on the 17th. You see? That would be the beginning of that. That would be day one of what? The second month. Biblical. But that knowledge has been stripped away from us. All right? So let's get it, Hebrew. What else to say?
Verse 15.
Yeah.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Oof.
And Yahweh made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
He made the stars also. So you can't leave the stars out of this either. Because even the stars got Hebrew names. The constellations are real. You understand? They just put their own names on it. Right? Instead of saying, they say Leo. You feel me? Instead of saying Arya, Arya, which means lion. They say Virgo, meaning virgin, instead of saying Betula. You feel me? And so on. You understand? Even when they get the whole the birthstones, they get that out the Bible. The high priest used to wear 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel.
No doubt.
They get everything from us, man. It's just a perversion of the knowledge. That's what it is. They done perverted the knowledge to where a lot of stuff you see, you just call it evil because that's all you know. You understand? Instead of saying, no, it's only evil because of what they're doing with it. Right? I can give a hell less how many sodomites rock a rainbow. A rainbow was put in the cloud as a covenant to not only Noah, but the rest of mankind, that the Most High wouldn't flood the earth anymore. It's also a rainbow around the throne of God. It ain't got nothing to do with no sodomites. Oh, I'll never be ashamed if I don't wear rainbow colors. I'm just saying, if you saw me with something rainbow on, you feel me? And you ran up on me, I'd be like, look, this is about the covenant that God made with Noah and mankind. He would never flood the earth again. This is also around his throne. You call him the Lord of fag? You see? Well, just because somebody did something evil with something that the Most High created, don't make what the Most High created evil. It make them evil for perverting the knowledge.
See, that's a tactic.
Yeah.
That's a form of a way to make you accept the wickedness. So if you can accept the fact of the meaning of it, you accept it. You know what I'm saying? Now the meaning does not have nothing to do with being trans, whatever they call it, gay or whatever. It has nothing to do with it. But if I can make your mind believe that this is what it means, that you didn't just accepted this as what it is, the wickedness instead of the righteousness behind it. So you can't even visualize it. You see it on my bumper, you think, oh, it's a gay guy driving. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you may not know what it is. Right. A person could be teaching and showing you the token that the Lord has given unto us as people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But instead of you taking it as that, you take it for wickedness. You accept it as wickedness.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk, man. It's time for us to level up and stop being so ignorant. concerning these things, man. The devil ain't original. He just take what the Most High God created and use it outside its original purpose. You understand? And that's what makes it evil, because it's not being used for the purpose in which it was created. All right, what verse you in?
We're in 16.
Okay.
It says, no, we're in 17. It says, and Yahweh set them in the firmament of the heavens,
right,
to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Yahweh saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
There we go, right there. Let's go to Isaiah 38 next. We're going to show how the sun was used. You see that? Some people just say, you see it in Israel, you understand? It's the moon, and then they go so hard on the moon to where they switch their Sabbaths every month, man. Because the new moon may come in on any day of the week. And if you adjusting your Sabbath, your weekly Shabbat, I ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying, the feast days and all that, yeah. But you're adjusting your weekly Shabbat every month. You understand? When that ain't the case, and you doing it based off what the moon, but you're not realizing that we also had sundials in Israel. So why was there a sundial? Right? Who was tracking the sun? For what? For what purpose? And if you say, oh man, they was doing it because they was going off, then why didn't the Most High God say they was off for it? You feel me? The Most High, when we just read Genesis 1, it says, let them, not the moon by itself, sun, moon, and stars. You feel me? Let them be for signs and seasons and for days and for years. Them. They all play a part. You understand? So let's read that real quick. Isaiah 38, 1-7, I believe it is, Hebrew.
Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 1.
Shalom to the worldwide family. Love y'all indeed in the truth. Let's get it, Hebrew.
It says, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death.
Yeah.
And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, thus said the Lord, set thine house in order.
Get your house in order, boy. Go ahead.
For thou shalt die.
Oof.
And not live.
Yeah, for y'all to claim y'all speaking tongues. How you know that? Well, I don't know what the Most High told me. How you know he ain't told you that? Huh? Tongue is just another language, man. And somebody should be able to interpret what you're saying to the masses of people so they can understand. When we ask you, I could have shut up about a Honda, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jesus. And we like, well, what was you saying? I don't know. What did God tell you? It wasn't for me to know. Well, how you know he ain't told you this? Get your house in order. You about to die. Come on now.
Then Hezekiah turned his face towards the wall and prayed unto the Lord and said, remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart and have done that which is good in thy sight. So
Hezekiah, like any of us, if you get the word you about to die, of course you better get on your face. You understand? And beg the Most High to extend your time, of course. Right? This is the king of Judah at the time. Go ahead, Al.
And Hezekiah wept sore.
Yeah.
Then came the word of the Lord to Isaiah, saying, go and say to Hezekiah, thus said the Lord, the God of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer.
That's right.
I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years.
The Most High merciful. He had decreed him to die, but because he begged for mercy, the Most High gave mercy. I'll extend you 15 years. Woo! Boy! Go ahead, Hebrew. Let's get it.
And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria.
That's right. We got enemies. All right, go ahead.
And I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord.
Who? A sign.
No doubt.
Now, a sign or a signal, right? The word oath in Hebrew, a sign. Huh? Aleph, Wa, Tav, a sign, right? Same thing when the Messiah, the Lord himself, shall give a sign. Isaiah 7:14, a signal, right? So this shall be for a sign. What's the sign? Go ahead, Op.
That the Lord will do this thing that he had spoken.
What are you going to do?
Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz.
Yeah.
10 degrees backwards.
Yeah, so he gonna make the sun or the shadow go back 10 degrees, right? Notice he say that's for a sign. Didn't he say that about the sun in Genesis 1, the sun and the moon?
Yeah.
They were given for signs. He said, well, if this is a sign, I'm gonna show you that I'm about to give you 15 more years. The sun is going to go back in the sundial of Ahaz 10 degrees.
What, you talking about going back in time?
I'm gonna turn back time.
What?
Because it already went past that point. It already went past that 10 degrees. He said, I'm gonna make the sun go back 10 degrees. You see that? But the question is, what are we doing with a sundial in Israel? If the sun don't mean nothing, right? What are we doing even trying to measure any of that if it don't mean nothing?
Yeah.
You see? See, we use the sun and the moon and the stars to determine the seasons and months, man. That's the problem, man. Our people ain't using everything. We just using one aspect. One camp used just the sun. I know that we know who we talking about because they kept Passover 2 weeks before us. You understand? And you got another camp that just do the moon, and they be doing Passover something. I remember they did a Passover in February one time. Because if you just following the moon, you're gonna lose days every year. The moon only has a 254-day cycle, 354-day cycle. You feel me? But it's 364 or 365 days in 1 year. So you off by 11 days. So after 3 years, 11 times 3 is 33. You done lost over a month. Huh? 9 years, you done lost 3 months. That's what it is, man. You feel me? So we gotta we gotta come back. We're gonna come back into the knowledge. We gotta come all the way back into the knowledge of what it is. All right. Did you finish that verse? Was you done with that? You done with that? All right. If you're done with that, drop that. Let's do Psalm 104. Psalm 104 and 9. Oh, we already read about the moon being for seasons. Yeah. We already read that. Y'all write that down, Psalm 104 and 19. I want to go show y'all the full moon too, because it's a camp I heard teaching that the full moon is the new moon. Now, we've been reading new moon this whole time, right? New moon, moon, new moon, new moon. You ain't heard nothing about a full moon yet, right? So if we go read about a full moon in the scripture, right? And we read about a new moon in the scripture, a child can tell you they must be different. It must be a difference between a new moon and a full moon. Let's go to the Apocrypha, man. Sirach out the Apocrypha, Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 12. Sirach chapter 39, verse 12. Let's go show full moons is in the scripture too. Because it's a camp teaching the full moon is the new moon. You see that? The full moon is the new moon. So if the full moon is the new moon, that means the new moon is the full moon. Sounds like confusion, don't it? The full moon is the new moon. Well, the new moon is the full moon. That sounds crazy, man. But anyway, yeah, you know, some brothers decided to come up with these new doctrines on the fly. They just came up with it a couple years ago. All right, I need Sirach 39, I believe it is. Start around verse 12. Read 10 through 12.
Sirach 39 and verse 10.
Yeah.
It says, nations shall show forth his wisdom, and the congregation shall declare his praise. If he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000.
Come on.
And if he live, he shall increase it. Yet have I more to say, which I have thought upon, for I am filled as the moon at the full.
I am what?
He said, I am filled as the moon at the full.
I am filled as the moon at the full. Right? There's a such thing as a full moon. And it's filled up with what? Light.
Light, no doubt.
Filled up with light, man. I am filled as the moon at the full. Sirach 39 and 12 goes into a full moon and how it's full. Right? Full of what? Full of light. We read in Sirach 43, increasing wonderfully, right? Increasing or filling up. Increasing wonderfully. So the full moon is not the new moon. The new moon is not the full moon. They're both separate. All right? And we're going to go show, you understand, what the new moon is, man. Again, we're not arguing if the new moon is in the scriptures. It is. But what is it? All right. Give me also Sirach 50 and 6. Read 4 through 6. Second witness on the full moon. Second witness. Second witness. All right. Then we're gonna go get what the new moon is, and then based off an ancient Israelite and his testimony, what the new moon is and how it's gonna line right up with the scripture that we gonna pull. And it ain't our fault if you don't read this. You understand? It ain't our fault. All right. Then at the end, we're gonna get into the counting all the way down to when the Pentecost feast is, the Feast of Weeks. All right. So you can understand, you start making plans. The next feast day is May 27th. All right. So let's get it. That's a week after we come back from Memphis, actually. All right. Where you at? Sirach 50, read 4 through 6, I believe it is.
Sirach chapter 50.
Yeah.
And verse 4.
Yeah.
It says, he took care of the temple, that it should not fall, and fortified the city against the besieging, against besieging. How was he honored in the midst of the people in his coming out of the sanctuary? He was as the morning star.
He was as the morning star. Go ahead.
In the midst of a cloud, and as the moon at the full.
And as the moon at the full.
Keep going.
What's that, verse 6?
Yeah, that's all.
And as the moon at the full. So this we just went there showing there's a difference between a new moon and a full moon. Right? When we read in the scripture about the new moon, it didn't mention the full moon. We just read about the full moon, didn't mention the new moon. All right. So that doctrine is something that just was hatched, you feel me, a couple years ago by a certain individual. And they just ran with it. You understand? They just ran with it. Based off what we read in Genesis 1. They all must have been made to see, you feel me? But the consistent theme is light out of darkness. You know what I'm saying? Most High create everything, and then it has to start going through its process. It's just what it is, man. Light out of darkness. All right. All right, so let's go show this new moon real quick. We need to go into First Enoch, man. First Enoch 78. First Enoch 78. We need 12 through 14. And then I got an ancient testimony of you know what I'm saying, of an ancient Israelite over here named Philo. We're gonna read what he say the new moon is too. We need Enoch 78. Let me see that. We need Enoch 78. Enoch 78, first book, Enoch 78, 12 through 14. 12 through 14. Now, this is one spot. We're going to ask, okay, where in the scriptures do we talk about what the new moon is? Is it the dark full moon? Is this the first slither of light? What is it? You feel me? And ask somebody to show you that, right? If they don't deal with the book of Enoch, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to be able to show you. They're not going to be able to show you. You understand what it is, because it's not clear what it is. You understand? And just what you would call the 66 books in the Apocrypha. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with Enoch from chapter 72 through 82, you're dealing with the book of the heavenly luminaries. Enoch got a thorough understanding of what the heavens, feel me, how they operate, what they are, the circuits and everything, man. So again, it ain't our fault if you don't read this. Feel me? And I'm cool with a few brothers that, you know, scared to swim with the sharks. I understand. You feel me? You got to stay in shallow. I ain't even mad at you. But if somebody was to ask you, show me what it is, could you show? That's the question. If somebody was to ask you, what is it, could you show? All right. So let's get into this real quick. Let's get into this. First Enoch, chapter 78. We're going to read verses 12 through 14. Hey, grab that dough for me, y'all. That's the one. Grab that dough for me. I don't know what all that's about. Now, Sirach 78. I'm not Sirach. First Enoch 78, 12 through 14. You got it? Yeah. Ruban phone pulling up now. We're going to get into it and get her done. You dig? Let's get her done. What y'all laughing at on her? LOL, lyrical dream. What y'all laughing at? What's funny? Worldwide fam. Ray I.L., you love the book of Enoch. Yeah, it go hard, don't it? Eat my. Come on. Yeah, go grab. Yo. Yep. So you got it? Yep. Enoch 78. First book of Enoch 78.
Enoch chapter 78.
Yeah.
And verse 12.
Yeah, read 12 through 12 through 14. Toda Rabbah.
Verse 12, it says, and on the first day, it is called the new moon.
On the first day, it is called what?
The new moon.
So now we go into what it is. Okay? On the first day of the month, it is called the new moon. Come on.
For on that, daylight rises on it.
On that what?
For on that, daylight rises on it.
On that day?
We just said for on that, daylight rises on it.
On that day, light rises upon it. You see that? So the first visible light is the new moon. We always thought the conjunction, the dark full moon, is you can't see unless you really was out there trained to look. You understand? But how many people trained to really study the heavens and look at it? It's not an easy task. Notice right here it say, for on that day light. You see that? Appears upon it. Let's read that again, Hebrew. What does it say?
It says, on the first day it is called the new moon.
Yeah.
For on that, daylight rises on it.
On that day, light rises upon it. Come on, Hebrew.
Yeah. And its light becomes full exactly on the day that as the sun goes down in the west, it rises from the east for the night, and the moon shines for the whole night until the sun rises opposite it.
Hey, so then it goes from a new to when it's full. That right there show you the new moon is not the full moon. Right? The new moon is the first day of the month because on that day, light rises upon it. Right? It's the first sliver of light on the moon. You understand? And we got elders over in Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of elders. All right, shalom. All right, I said we got plenty of elders in Israel. You understand? Aki Shiloh and them, Ashur and them. They've got brothers that live up in the mountains of Mitzpah Ramon that actually look in the heavens and then shout us out in the west like, look, we just saw the new moon. You feel me? So then we can start our count. So it is what it is. Even if you was like, well, y'all in America, you did. Well, we got elders in Israel. You feel me? They give us an 8-hour head start. Let us know, like, look, we just saw the moon. You did, because everything's based off of Jerusalem, the land, Israel. All right, come on now.
All right, it says, verse 14, it says, and on the side on which the light of the moon appears, there again it wanes until all its light disappears.
Until all the light disappears. That's what they call the conjunction moon. That's what they call the conjunction moon. So it went from the first sliver to it getting full to it waning or decreasing. And it's perfection, like it said in Sirach 43, right? Until what? What did it say?
Until all its light disappears.
Until all the light disappears. You understand? So the moon without no light is not the new moon. You understand? The moon with no light is not the new moon. You understand? That's a conjunction moon. It's the period between that month and the next month. Then once you finally see that sliver, new moon. All right? Finish that up, Bob.
It said, and the days of the moon end, and its disk remain empty without light.
Yeah. So that's the end of a month. Empty without what?
Without light.
Without light. You feel me? Now it's wild because this is really the only scripture that's going to go into detail about what the new moon is. The first sliver of light, you understand? It growing to its full, it's waning to its void of light, and how that's actually the end of the month. You understand? So again, not to, beat anybody up over, but that's really the only scripture that go into detail. There is no other scripture that go into detail like that. That right there is saying that the end of when the moon is void of light, that's the end of the month. It's the new month when you see that first sliver of light. Hallelujah. Now, bro, well, give me another scripture, bro. It ain't no other scripture. That's the point. It ain't one. You understand? Nowhere. But what we're going to do is pull ancient testimony to back up what Enoch is saying. You feel me? And if that ain't enough, then, brothers and sisters may have to just sit down and, search it out until we find it. But so far, I ain't read nothing else that went into detail over what the new moon actually is. I ain't read it nowhere in the script. Is it in there? New moon? Yeah. But what is it? Enoch laid on the line right here. Right? So, you know, take it or not. But I ain't to judge you over it. Like, I ain't messing with you. I'm cutting you niggas off. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think the end of the month is the beginning of the month. I ain't even in all that. I'm just saying, this Enoch that everybody's scared of. People scared to swim with the sharks. Want to stay in shallow. You feel me? With your life jacket on in shallow. You want to stay over there? Stay on over there, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you want to swim with the sharks and get deep, you feel me? Deep waters, deep wisdom, deep understanding, then you gonna have to, you feel me, come about your comfort zone and deal. All right, what verse you in? Was you done with that?
Yeah.
All right, now next I want to read just to back it up with a witness. Just to back it up with a witness, I want to show y'all real quick. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Shalom family, Shalom Genesis, Miss Parker off grid. Shalom, that's the Shebrew and her husband, man.
Shalom, Shalom
all
family.
good. Living off the grid. You understand? Homeschooling. That's all praises. All right, bing, bing, bing. Let's find this real quick. Shalom to the worldwide family, kingdom bound, lyrical dream. Oh, I see what you was laughing at, lyrical dream. All right. I hear you. Bing. So many hidden things. You ain't lying, sister. So you must swim with the sharks then, huh? You over there swimming with the sharks. You ain't on your porch. You out here with the big dogs. That's what I'm talking about. All praise. All right, now look. That's what I'm finna do right here. I'm about to go right here to Philo of Alexandria. All right. And how he was a Hebrew. Where's thing? I thought I pulled it up on there. Philo of Alexandria was a Hebrew that went into that lived before the Messiah. He was born around 20 BC and lived to about 50 AD or whatever. And he went in on how they used to observe the new moon, right? So he was a Hebrew that actually lived in Egypt during the time, I believe, like the Ptolemies and all them. Mm-hmm. You feel me? When the Greeks and all them took over, but they wanted to ask him about the new moon. Let me find this little article real quick. So I had it pulled up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, Philo. I was looking for something else too, Rock. I'm like, dang, where else? Somebody else say something about it, and I ended up running across it. Bang, there she's wrote. Bang, bang, bang. Let me find it real quick. You believe not? All right. All right, man. Here, I'm gonna find it while we keep rolling. Once I find it, then I'm gonna go ahead and jump back into it. But from there, let's go to this Leviticus 23 and let's count. Let's count from you know what I'm saying? Let's go into the Leviticus 23. We're gonna read 9. What is it, verse 9? No, 15 through 22. We about to go into the Feast of Weeks. Let me find that Philo. The Philo of Alexandria is the Special Laws, number 2, chapter 27, 140. Philo of Alexandria, Special Laws 2. Philo, Philo, Philo of Alexandria, like Alexandria, Egypt. Special Laws 2, like Roman numeral 2, 27th chapter, section 140. I wrote it down right here. I'm trying to find the article on my phone. It's on there somewhere. But I'm going to search for it while we going over this Feast of Weeks right here in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. We're going to get in the Feast of Weeks in the Old Testament, and we're going to show it in the New Testament, showing they still was keeping. Pentecost is not a denomination of Christianity. Pentecost is actually a feast day. So for any of y'all claiming y'all Pentecostal because y'all speak in unknown tongues, you understand, you sadly mistaken. You're claiming to be a feast day.
Wow.
Really? See that? There is no such thing as a Pentecostal in the scripture. There's no such thing. The day of Pentecost or the Feast of Weeks is a feast day ordained by the God of Israel. It was in his laws, in Leviticus. Break them off, Ruben. I know you had some arguments earlier, man. Break them off, man. Tell the worldwide family how you really feel.
Hey, well, it's just kind of funny to me. You know, you call yourself the day after a feast.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know what I'm saying? It's such things that you can try to give yourself a name after, but you talk about giving yourself a name after a feast. Just like,
here, I found it, y'all. It's on YahwehIsTruth.com. YahwehIsTruth.com. I'm going to put that in the chat for everybody. Y'all can read along when y'all get a chance.
And you can see how easy it is for our people just to give be pleased with going off. Like you could just get a name and say, be a part of this. Come be a part of being Pentecost. Now you got so many people calling themselves I'm Pentecostal. And this what it was. This one time, me and this bro, because me and this bro, we went to these heathen jobs a lot of times, and we stirred up a lot of trouble. You know, it was all good. All praise due to the Most High. But Israelite, one day we sitting at the cafeteria, and I got some lamb and rice with some beans in it.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Yeah, so this guy, he don't even know. He don't even know it's lamb. So he got the, you know, hey, I see there's some pork and beans and some rice. What? Oh my goodness, man. No, it's lamb. You know what I'm saying? So he like, lamb? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, oh, okay. So he wanted to check denomination, where was it? Because he heard the word lamb. You know what I'm saying? He had to hear like, damn, you lamb. Where you from? Who are you with? I ain't with religion, bro. I'm Israelite. You know what I'm saying? What you talking about? Who you with? He said, I'm Pentecostal. And man, it was funny because me and his bro was rapping. He's like, what? This brother called himself a feast day? Boy. And it was funny though, you know, because yes, that's what's going on. Like you call yourself straight up feast day.
Yeah.
And they got a doctrine behind it, you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
Utter madness, man. That's what it is. All right, so when y'all go to this YahwehIsTruth.com, right, it says new moon sliver, not conjunction. Okay, then it shows y'all can kind of see that on there. See that first slither of light down there? That's what Enoch just described as the new moon. That first slither. Feel me? Light coming out of darkness. See that? See that, girl? Yeah. One night is either decreasing or it's increasing. If it's decreasing, it's at the end of the month. If it's increasing, it's the beginning of the month.
Big Jack told us use our fingernails.
Thumbnails and all that. Yeah. All right, so this right here is new moon sliver, not conjunction. What you laughing at?
So to say, I'm Sukkot. Yeah, I heard
you Sukkot. You Sukkot. I'm Pesach. All right.
Hey, look.
All right, this right here. So it says, all right, let me get on down and show y'all what it is. Okay, follow. And look, on here, it mentioned Enoch 78 and 12. It mentioned it right there.
Mm-hmm.
See, so you know what I'm saying? We right on point. Right here, when you go down to like section 3 of this, on YahwehIsTruth.com, right? You go down to section 3, it's a Philo, Philo. He lived from 20 BCE to 50 CE. All right, so he lived roughly 70 years, known as Philo of Alexandria, Philo Judaeus of Alexandria, Jedediah, Philon, Philo the Jew. All right, all that. And then it says, he wrote that the new moon is after the conjunction moon. Philo, special laws too. Now, there are 10 festivals in number as the law sets them down. The first is that which anyone will perhaps be astonished to hear called a festival. This festival is every day. The second festival is the 7th day, which the Hebrews in their native language call the Sabbath or the Shabbat. The third is that which comes after the conjunction, which happens on the day of the new moon in each month. The day after the conjunction, which is the dark moon. You understand? What it says? It says, which happens on the day of the new moon in each month. The day of the new moon, not after. Right after the conjunction, which happens on the day of the new moon. After the conjunction of the dark moon comes that first slither of light, right, of the new moon in each month. All right, right here it says, known as Philo Alexandria. All right, it says was a Hellenistic Jew, biblical philosopher born in Alexandria, Egypt. In Special Laws 26, section 140, Philo tells us that at the new moon there is light. At the new moon there is light. He also tells us that at the new moon the sun begins to illuminate the moon with light, which is visible to the outward senses, and moon displays her beauty to the beholders. You see that? On the new moon there is light, the first slither of light. You understand? So again, that's on YahwehIsTruth.com. Go down and read about Philo. And he just backed up what we read in Enoch 78 and 12. You see? So the new moon actually is the first sliver You understand? Do we have a second witness biblically? It ain't in there. You feel me? But those is claiming it's a conjunction ain't got one witness. You feel me? Just say new moon. You don't say what moon it is. You see? So either you read it or you don't. Again, we ain't here to judge you on it. We just want to show you what the new moon was. You understand? And how it's important. So now we're going to get into these feasts of weeks real quick. We're going to do Leviticus 23, 15 through 22. Because the next feast day coming up is what's called the Feast of Weeks. All right? And what we're going to do is we're going to count, show y'all how we count, and we'll arrive at our date, and then how they count. You'll see these green question marks up here. How they arrived at there. You understand? How do they get 50 days after 7 complete Sabbaths in one day? Because if the new moon is the Sabbath, then you have to reset your weeks. We ain't read nothing about resetting a week. Months reset, but they can reset it in the middle of a week. You understand? And we're gonna read that, and we're gonna let the scripture say where you must be, and then we're gonna count.
Hey, right? Shalom, Sister Kimber Lily. That's her name.
Kimberly Lily.
Kimber Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shalom to the sheep, bro.
That's how she got that little space in between the Kimber and Lee.
Yeah. Shalom to the sheep, bro.
Shalom, sisters.
All right, let's get her done. Leviticus Wa'ikra 23.
Leviticus 23.
Yeah, Leviticus 23. Read 15 through 22, bro.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Remember, you got to complete 7 Sabbaths. So the morrow after the Sabbath, this is the Sabbath following Passover. The morrow after the Sabbath following Passover. 7 Sabbaths must be complete before you arrive at the next feast day. 7 Sabbaths have to go by. Okay? Now remember, they claim a new moon dictates the weekly Sabbath. Remember that. All right, go ahead, Hebrew.
All right. Even unto the morrow, after the 7th Sabbath, shall ye number 50 days.
See, so the day after the 7th Sabbath should equal day 50. That's what they're saying. The morrow after the 7th Sabbath, after Passover, should be day 50, hence Pentecost, or the Feast of Weeks. So 7 complete Sabbaths, and the morrow after the 7th Sabbath should be day 50. 7 times 7 is 49. The day after 49 should be day 50.
No doubt.
The morrow after the Sabbath after Passover is when you start your count.
Now remember the definition of Pentecost, meaning 50th. 50th days between the two, Passover to Pentecost.
The Sabbath following Passover. Sabbath following Passover. You know what I'm saying? You brought that wave sheaf offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. The day after the 7th Sabbath, day 50. That's when you keep Pentecost. That's what it go into. We're gonna put the computer or the camera up so y'all can see. We're gonna count. We're gonna count how we do it, and we're gonna count how they do it. And we're gonna see, you feel me, who land work and on what day. You understand? What verse you in?
We're in verse 16. It says, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Verse 17.
That's it for that. We're gonna count. All right. Do Deuteronomy 16 for me real quick. At 9, it's gonna say the same thing.
9 through 12.
Yep, Deuteronomy 16, 9 through 12 will say the same thing. But the point is, the morrow after the Sabbath. What Sabbath? The Sabbath following Passover. Okay, the morrow after the Sabbath. You understand? When you bring the wave sheaf off, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Because during Passover, we was harvesting too. We was harvesting what's called barley.
No doubt. So
we had to come bring that as an offering to the Most High God. Give it to the priest, and the priest would do a wave sheaf offering. We bring a sheaf of it which is something you carry your crops in. You bring a sheaf of it to the priest, and the priest would wave that, offer it as a thank you offering to the Most High God, your first fruits. Right? Your first crops that were ripe for picking get offered to God as a thank you offering, you feel me, for a successful harvest. If we got successful harvest, we finna eat. Try about to eat, we good. All right, let's do Deuteronomy 16, 9 through 12. It's the same language. What it say?
Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 9.
Yeah.
It says, 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee.
7 weeks. 7 weeks shall you number unto you, right? And we just read in Leviticus 23, the 7 weeks got to equal up to 50 days, the day after the 7th Sabbath. All right? 7 weeks. A week consists of 7 days. All right, go ahead.
It says, begin to number the 7th week, the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn.
Yeah, from the moment you start harvesting.
No doubt.
Right? You bring that sheaf offering to the priest when? The morrow after the Sabbath, after Passover. That's when you bring that. That's when you put that sickle to that crop and put it in that sheaf and go offer it. One brother was like, whenever you go back to work. They ain't talking about when you go back to work, man. The morrow after the Sabbath following Passover is when you bring that. And it say that's when you start your count. That's when you start your count to the next feast day. All right, let's read out.
Yeah, no doubt. It says, and thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God with a tribute of a free will offering.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Of thy hand.
Yeah, thanking the Most High.
Of thy hand.
Thanking the Most High God. This is free will. He ain't putting your arm behind your back. He like, look, if you really love me and you down with me, bring me a free will offering. Honor your God. All right, go ahead.
Which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee.
According as he hath blessed you. You honor the Most High with your first fruits. Honor the Most High with your substance. Whatever he done bless you, you honor him, man. All right, go ahead.
And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God. Thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and thy Levite that is within thy gates.
Yeah, so you understand? It wasn't just because some people teach only the men can keep the feast. No, everybody. You understand? It is what it is. But if it was cases of uncleanness, then for sure the men had to show up. You understand? Like if your woman was unclean or whatever, but the man had to show up as representative of the household. The males for sure had to show up. You understand? But that right there, let it be known, man. If they rejoice in the Most High God, man, look, the stranger, the Levite, your servants, your slaves. You understand? There's only one way of worship, even in the kingdom of God. There's only one way of worship. All right, go ahead.
It says, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you in the place which the Lord thy God had chosen to place his name there.
Yeah, so you see that. Now remember, Israel is called by the name of the Most High too.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know, yeah, you got to go back to Jerusalem. Then why you ain't went?
No doubt.
What's stopping you from going? You understand? Wherever the Most High God or his people is, that's where his name is. And be on a more physical level, being we was marching through the wilderness with the Ark of the Covenant, it was where the Ark of the Covenant was. And inside the Ark of the Covenant is what? The 10 Commandments, the law of God. That's his name. Right? And on a whole metaphysical level, the whole temple and tabernacle broke down like the anatomy of your body. That's why you call this your temple. Right? And what you keep on your mind, the laws of the Heavenly Father, man. So that's where his name is at.
No doubt.
Or 2 or 3 are gathered, what? In my name, I'm what? I'm there in the midst of them. But again, you don't want to swim with the sharks. I understand. So we see the time that we start counting, right? So let's go ahead and put him on the board, bro. Let's go ahead.
And it's a thing with you guys is talking about flee. You know, like what the Most High saying where my name is or where I place my name in. You know what I'm saying? We was replaced in this place. You know what I'm saying? To serve out Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying? Now to say we're going back to the land, the scripture called the land that we are from trodden down with Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? So being that it's trodden down with Gentiles, then what rule are you under if you're going into the land? Like I couldn't even really see myself really, I think I'd be more vexed than anything, even going to the land and seeing this controlled by other people other than us.
Right.
Then I almost want to put me in war. Like, man, we ain't going over there to take over now. What are we doing? And I ain't not saying I want to feast my eyes on the city. No, I would love to do that. That's the thing. I'm just letting you know spiritually that, I mean, I don't know, but it vexes my Hebrew spirit to go over there and understand we under control of another nation. So to be going over the same thing as if we could flee what could we flee? You know, we can't flee the persecution, nor could we flee Deuteronomy chapter 28. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be there until the return of our Messiah. It says no man shall buy you. So what where do we feel like we will come up out of this and into another way of living? You know, but I just say that because we were reading this scripture where it said in the place where the Lord will place his name. You know what I'm saying? And then knowing for sure that Israel is called by his name, that we have been scattered amongst all the four corners. And if that be so, then no man is going to buy us up out of the four corners until the return of our Messiah. That way I couldn't see the term of fleeing anywhere for no reason. But
that's real, bro. I understand. Like in the trenches to the Most High God call us out.
No doubt.
That's it. We perfectly fine with it. You know what I'm saying? And then that also guards you from any, you know what I'm saying, slick willy Hebrews just trying to get over, man. You gotta have $12,000 to leave, and you don't know where you staying, and you finna have to, you feel me, live like a hobo. And man, look, you can do that early.
No
You
doubt.
know what I'm saying? You want to be a bum, you be a bum on the streets in America. That's what you want, you dig? You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is, man. A lot of people don't have the faith to understand that the Most High will redeem us. All we got to do is be patient. That's in the scripture, Micah chapter 4. You go on to Babylon, but there you shall be delivered. The Most High going to deliver you from the hand of your enemies. Micah chapter 4, 10 to 13. Either you believe it or you don't, man. Like, you feel me? That ain't no thing. All right, so let's go back to Leviticus 23. I got Leviticus 23 right here. Let's grab the camera, man. Let's go ahead and put the camera. Okay. We're going to put y'all on the camera real quick. Y'all bear with us. We're going to show y'all. All right? I need Jeremiah, if you can, Hebrew. Read Leviticus 23, 15 and 16 for me. While the Hebrew get a close-up right here.
All right, y'all.
You can take this off, too. Move this out your way. Put all that out your way. He should be cool. We'll plug it back in later. All right. So we about to go up and we about to go into the count. And while we're doing, you know what I'm saying, what's called the Feast of Weeks down in May 27th. All right. So for y'all don't know, this right here is March. All right, 2018. The first new moon of the month, or the first day of the month, the new moon was March the 17th. We all was together after class too. The first slither of the moon, we seen it. All right. That was the new moon. We kept Passover's assembly March 31st is after 2 weeks later, but at evening, going into April 1st. This is when we kept it. Okay. Notice it's a Saturday though. It's at the end of a Sabbath when we kept it. All right. So read Leviticus 23 for me, y'all, 15 and 16.
15 and 16. Leviticus 23, chapter 15.
Chapter 23, verse 15.
Yeah, 23 and 15.
Yeah.
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of wave offering, even 7 Sabbaths shall be completed.
So it says the morrow after the Sabbath, right? Now, being that Passover started at the end of a Sabbath, right? We wouldn't have brought the offering until the 7th of April. You understand? Because Passover had technically started, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread technically started April 1st. At sundown or evening of March 31st, we were going into April 1st. So it said we wouldn't have been able to bring or keep this, what it says, after the Sabbath, right? 7 weeks. Well, the Sabbath following is when we would have started, okay? So you got March 31st, right? But that said the morrow after the Sabbath. Well, next Sabbath will be until April the 7th. All right. The morrow after April the 7th is where you start your count at. You got it up there, Hebrew? All right. So the morrow after, and then it says 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Okay. So look, we got April the 7th, right? The morrow after April 7th is when you would have brought the sheaf off. All right. 7 Sabbaths would have had to be complete. So when you see these circled right here in this corner, this is Sabbath 1, because that's a complete Sabbath from this Sabbath. 7 days, right? That's Sabbath 1, April the 14th. Sabbath 2 is April the 21st. Sabbath 3 is April the 28th. Okay. Come on down. Come on down this way if you can. Now we in May. Right here, up top. Up a little bit. Stand up a little bit, bro. Close. Yeah. All right. May the 5th would have been the 4th Sabbath. I got a circle right here. May the 5th would have been the 4th. Will be the 4th Sabbath. Okay. May the 12th will be the 5th Sabbath. May the 19th will be the 6th Sabbath. May the 26th will be the 7th Sabbath. The day after the 7th Sabbath is May 27th, day 50. All right. Now, for y'all to think it's a game, that's going back over here. The red numbers I have on here are the actual days we count. The morrow after the Sabbath. Passover was March 31st. But we had to wait for the Sabbath to come in until we offered our offering. Okay, so April 8th, day 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Come over to May, bro. Right there, right? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Day 50 is May 27th. I see that? May the 27th, May 2018, the 27th is when we keeping the Feast of Weeks, of what's called Pentecost, according to the scripture. And we counted the weeks for you plus 1 day. The day after the 7th Sabbath, number 50. Finish that 16.
16, yeah.
What it say?
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall you number 50 days.
See that? The 7th Sabbath is day 49. 7 times 7 is 49. The morrow after that is day 50. See that? May the 27th. Go ahead, Doc.
And ye shall offer up a new meat offering unto the Lord.
Yeah, we're gonna be on them grills. We're gonna get them grills out. We're gonna be smoking that righteous and lawful meat. All right. So that's why we ended up with our count. Y'all notice it was 7 complete Sabbaths. It came down to day 50. The morrow after the Sabbath following Passover is when you start your count. We got them up there. All right, now let's go back over here. Now, for those that go by the new moon, okay, and I got the new moons up here. New moon, new moon, new moon. For those that go by the new moon, and they say that dictates the weekly Sabbath, we're going to do the same count. All right? And we're going to see after 7 Sabbaths, because each new moon is a Sabbath too, that they say. That's why they switch up their Sabbaths every month. Because the new moon may come on Tuesday or Wednesday. So for the rest of that month, for 4 more weeks, Sabbath is a Wednesday. This is according to them, not us.
Right.
Well, check this out. All right. So again, read that 15 again. The morrow after the Sabbath.
15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Okay, now trip off this. For the month of March, the new moon was on a Saturday. So according to their doctrine, new moon is on a Saturday this month, which is it's supposed to be on a Saturday every month. All right. So when they start counting, it's the same count. Okay. So they're gonna have to say Sabbath 1. See that? Just like us, because they have to go tomorrow after the Sabbath, right? So Sabbath 1, right? Sabbath 2, because the new moon coming on the 17th, which is tomorrow. Okay. And so for the rest of the month, the Sabbath will be on a Tuesday. Sabbath 3. This is their understanding. All right. Come on over here, Hebrew. Sabbath, y'all see these green question marks. Sabbath 4. Sabbath 5. Sabbath 6. All right. New moon will be May 18th. Sabbath 7. The day after the 7th Sabbath is May the 19th, which is day what? 42.
42. That's crazy.
You can't get 50 days and 7 complete Sabbaths by resetting your Sabbath every month based off the moon.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You can't get it. You feel that? Let's do it again. It's real quick. Where y'all see these green question marks at is their Sabbath. All right. So they had the same first Sabbath with us on April the 7th, but when April the 17th come in tomorrow, they got to count another Sabbath. Which ain't number how many days? 1, 2. It's 3 days between Sabbaths.
Right.
It's gonna be 7 days.
Yeah.
See the difference. The time between April 14th and April 17th is just 3 days. So that says 7 complete Sabbaths had to be complete. So 7 weeks had to go by.
7 weeks.
All right. So look, this is how they count. That's Sabbath 1. That's Sabbath 2. For the rest of the month is on Tuesday, Sabbath 3. Okay, come on over here, Rube. Still on a Tuesday, May 1st, Sabbath 4, Sabbath 5, Sabbath 6. 3 days later, on the 18th, is your 7th Sabbath, because it's a new moon.
So they go by the new moon being a first day of Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the more after the 7th Sabbath is the May 19th, will get you 42 days.
So
they missed the mark by 8 days.
Yeah.
When you do that. Feel me? We keeping it on day 50, like the scriptures say, on May the 27th. That makes sense? See what I'm saying? Once you put the calendar on them and everybody keep talking this new moon, well, you gotta reset your Sabbath every month. That ain't you don't. The scripture don't say nothing about resetting your weeks. The month may come in the middle of a week or so or whatever. That happens.
Right.
But there's been a continual 7-day week since creation. Nobody has showed us. You can put that down now, bro. Nobody has showed us yet. Nobody has showed us yet where the 7-day week that the Most High God created in the beginning, where that's been interrupted. Where has that been interrupted? Man has never been able to make a day. Man don't possess that power. He can tamper with your perception of time, but he don't got. If he don't got power over the sun, moon, and stars, he don't got power over a day, because that what determines years, days, and months. He can put his own names on the days, April, March, and all that. He can do all that. You feel me? Or he can put his names on the days of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You understand? But the Bible calls it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. You feel me? So when you're done talking, nobody has interrupted this 7-day weekly, this 7-day week since Most High God created. I ain't seen it. I ain't even seen it. You understand? Again, this heathen tamper with your perception of time. So based off the new moon, and you doing 7 Sabbaths, and the day after your 7th Sabbath only gets you 42 days. Now I bumped into somebody who would say, well, we ain't gonna count the exact new moon. We gonna count the week after the new moon. Well, that's gonna put you over 50 days. It's gonna put you at about 54, 55 days. You see that? So either way, it ain't coming through. Either way, it ain't coming through. You're gonna come short of the mark or go over the mark. We showed y'all based off 7 complete Sabbaths. You understand? And we counted the days all the way down to 50. Day after the 7th Sabbath should be day 50, because 7 times 7 is 49 plus 1 day 50. And I pray that made sense to y'all. That's why we went and put it on the calendar. Bing, 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 bang. You feel me? So again, the moon don't dictate the weekly Sabbath. You understand? Your Sabbath don't switch days every month. It's a consistent 7 days. You feel me? And that's where actually the solar come into play at, the sun. Because it's 364 or 365 days in 1 year when you're done talking. You understand? And that's that Enoch knowledge. That's the Enoch knowledge. If not, your years are 354 days. You understand? Because you're strictly going by the moon. Strictly going by the moon. And you'll never be able to compensate by doing that. You understand? So look, let's read some of this real quick. We read the Deuteronomy. I want to show the Pentecost in the book of Acts real quick. Acts 20 and 16. There's one verse. Write it for me out. Acts 20 and 16. We're going to read a few of these and Jubilees about, and Enoch. We're going to get Enoch again, 73, 1 through 11. We get a chance. But we're going to read in Jubilees and Enoch that the calendar, God's calendar, is 364 days. Right? Not 354. 364 or 365. We're gonna read that. All right. So I pray y'all got some understanding concerning it. I know it's a lot of madness going on out here. The full moon is the new moon, or even if brothers are saying that the dark moon, you feel me, is, which is understandable. You understand? Which is very understandable, because I mean we thought that at one time too. You know what I'm saying? We thought that at one time too. Until we start studying the Enochs and different things, like, dang, hold on. You feel me? This is saying something totally different. And where else you gonna pull to show what the new moon is? Like, show it. You feel me? And that'd be kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? That'd be kind of hard for folks just to let go of certain things based off their rearing up and their understanding. But it's all good. We ain't here to take your throat off or your head off for it. But why y'all want to do us like that?
Hey, check it out, though.
Go ahead.
You look at the book of Genesis where you're reading about when the moon was made. It says it was made on the fourth day. Now, 3 days after the fourth day, the Most High had the Shabbat.
Right.
Well, 2 days. Well, it's 3 days. He had a Shabbat after that. He rested. So, if the moon was on its course during then, it would have to start the first day, or like it would be on its course during the time of the seventh day approaching. It would have been on its course already. So, where would the new moon start at in they beginning? If they beginning with the moon with the Shabbat, you know what I'm saying? Like the moon will start on the fourth day, so we have to at least stay at one quarter of light of something to show the days of its advancement. Like it has to advance in days. So I mean, I guess it will have to stay in one stage for 3 days to keep it a new moon. You know what I'm saying? So the Sabbath wouldn't change. I mean, it's ridiculous. But you guys would have the Sabbath according to the moon, where the moon was made on the fourth day.
Yeah, and 3 days later, the Lord held Shabbat. So not 7 days after the moon was created. 3 days later, he held Sabbath right there in Genesis, the 1st and 2nd chapter. Moon was created on day 4, like Reuben is saying, and then 3 days later was Shabbat.
Yeah.
So according to y'all understanding, the Shabbat should have been 7 days after the moon was created. You see, certain things just don't add up, man. Dig? But it's all good. It's all good. All right. What we at? Acts 20 and 16, I believe it is. Acts 20 and 16, we want to show Pentecost in the New Testament. For you New Testament those who scared to deal with the New Testament, got to show that too. You feel me? Because it's war on every front. Brothers that claim they're Hebrews but don't believe in Messiah, we ain't got no room for y'all either, man. You understand? Why are they talking about Pentecost and the Feast of Weeks that Moses got from the Most High in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter? Because the Old and New Testament are in harmony, man. They sync up. You just ain't studied it enough to understand it. All right, let's get to that. Hebrew, Acts 20 and 16.
Acts chapter 20 and verse 16.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It says, for Paul had determined to sail by Ephesus because he would not spend the time in Asia, for he hasted, if it were possible for him, to be at Jerusalem the day of Pentecost.
See, what's y'all doing keeping Pentecost? The same Shaul Paul y'all free case and say he told y'all what? Don't keep the commandments. Huh? He ain't doing it but going into the different administration and different priesthood. How you ain't sacrificing and killing animals for your sins anymore. That's all you're going into. And the spiritual understanding of the inward man, Paul was beyond y'all level. You feel me? And so many people free casing him, but ain't even reading what he's saying. But he like, look, Pentecost. I got to get back to Jerusalem for Pentecost. I got business to handle. See that? Let's go to Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2. We're going to read 1 through 11. Pentecost again. And again, this is not a denomination of Christianity. Pentecost in the Bible is a feast day. It's not a group of Negroes that believe they Gentiles, speak in tongues, you understand, eat all type of abominable meat and claim they children of God. And women wear long dresses. Like, come on, man. You understand? Pentecost, count 50, or Chag Shabuot, the Feast of Weeks, is a feast day based off Passover. Y'all in the Pentecostal church don't keep Passover. Stop it. Stop it. You wouldn't even know nothing about Pentecost had not Passover happened. Because you had to count 50 days from the moment that you brought the wave sheaf offering after the Sabbath following Passover. So it wouldn't be no Pentecost without Pesach. All right, Hebrew, Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2, 1 through 11.
Acts chapter 2, verse 1.
And this is where the Pentecostals go, but they stop at verse 4. They stop at verse 4. They never read down to verse 11 to where you can get the understanding. Oh, they speaking the gospel in their own language and everybody else's language so they can understand the wonderful works of God. Come on, Hebrew, Acts chapter 2. Let's get it.
Acts chapter 2 and verse 1.
Yeah.
And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Not sure about this. Reuben read a definition on Pentecost earlier. And it said Pentecost, or the time of harvest, or the Feast of Weeks, and how it was used and how we arrived at that point after Passover, counting 50. You see what I'm saying? He read it. So when you read, once the Feast of Pentecost came in, think back to Leviticus 23. This is the Feast of Weeks. All right, come on, Hebrew.
It's saying, suddenly there came a sound from heaven, as a rushing mighty wind.
As a rushing mighty wind. Boom! Right, come on.
And it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues, like as of fire. And it sat upon each of them.
Now look, in the third month, like this is in the third month, right? Now on a deeper level, the third month after we had Passover and came out of Egypt, guess where we was at? Mount Sinai, receiving the fiery law of God. You got fiery tongues in the book of Acts. You got a fiery law from the Most High God. You understand? These events line right up. After we had our first Passover, in the third month, we end up at Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb to receive instructions from the living God. Messiah was put to death as the Passover lamb. Roughly 50 days later, his disciples never left Jerusalem because they was told, don't leave Jerusalem until you hear from me. And they heard from him on the next feast. Come on, Hebrew.
It says, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire. And it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues. As the Spirit gave them utterance.
What verse is that?
That's verse 4.
That's verse 4. The Pentecostals started by Jack Parham, some heathen in the 1800s. That doctrine will stop you at verse 4. They dare not keep reading.
No doubt.
Come on, Hebrew.
It said, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem. Jews.
Who?
Jews.
Israelites. Come on.
Devout men.
Come on.
Out of every nation under heaven.
Out of every nation under heaven. You see that? You see that? Devout men, meaning devoted to the ways of God. But see, Israel been scattered, man. We've been scattered. All right, come on, Hebrew.
Now, when this was noise abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
You see why they won't get past verse 4? Because now you'll be forced into the understanding that these tongues that set on them, fiery tongues, and they spoke as the Spirit gave them utterance, was them speaking what God wanted them to speak in people's other language. I should have bought a Honda is not another language.
No doubt.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is not another language.
No doubt.
Cheez-Its, 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 till you say Jesus is not another language. And look in the front of most of your Bibles. It's going to say translated out of what? The original tongues. A tongue is a language. Paul spoken to them in the what? Hebrew tongue. Acts 22:1. You see? Acts 21:37-40. He spoke in what? The Greek tongue.
Now see, at this time right here, this should be when somebody should just get up and start running, hollering, shouting, you know?
Yeah, rolls up, and
we should see the example at least right now, though. You know what I'm saying? If this was supposed to go on, then there should be an example of somebody, one of the 12, just running out here right now, shouting, screaming. Somebody got to get a fan him, give him some water or something, because he's filled with the Holy Ghost.
I said about a Honda.
And right this time, he has the utterance. So if this is what's going on, and this is the example, then what we should see as the example is the flying, the running, the whole activity.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Big Mama passing out. Huh? It was women there too. We should see the very thing they claim when they catch the Holy Ghost in these so-called churches. You should see right here in this Acts. All right, let's read on down, brother. You like that, bud?
Oh, shit. We in verse 7 though. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
And all these Galileans, all them follow Yahushua Yahushua of Galilee. Right? So they in the land, they Israelites. Ain't these Galileans?
But they from another place though.
Well, not so all these Galileans.
So that means the conversation from them is different. We don't speak the same. These guys are from Galilee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the question amongst them to the people is, listen, man, wait a minute. Ain't these, who is these guys? It's like us going to China. Mm-hmm. We spitting fluently, whatever they want to call it.
Come that law.
Korean, Japanese, Chinese. We fluent. Most of them will be confounded. Why? Because we speak in their language. Mm. You know what I'm saying? It's not likely for niggas to get over here and get speaking our language.
So then they would be confounded.
No doubt.
Like, exactly. What is they talk? Okay, I heard them speaking about. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Doc.
And how heard we, every man in our own tongue wherein we were born?
You see that? How do we hear what they're saying? Every man in our own tongue that we were born, right? Because you've been scattered to so-called America, you speak English. Got other brothers scattered to Haiti, they speak French. Other brothers scattered in the Middle East somewhere, they speak Arabic. You understand? Certain people scattered in Asia, they may speak different dialect of Chinese or Japanese, whatever. You understand? But they like, we Israelites, but we are hearing the wonderful works of God in the language of the land we was born in.
All
right, go ahead, Doc.
Here go these nations. It's Parthians and Medes and Elamites and dwellers at Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia and Pontus and in Asia and Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt and in parts of Libya about Cyrene and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of Yah.
In our tongues, the wonderful works of Yah. So these Hebrews, these Israelites who were actually living and born in other lands could hear the gospel in the very language of the land that they was born in. Like you born in America, we butcher the English language, but if somebody popped up speaking English right now, we all would hear it and understand. You understand? So that shows it's not just you uttering something you don't know. And when you get into 1 Corinthians 14 chapter, the book of tongues is going to tell you, if you ain't got an interpreter, you need to close your mouth.
No doubt.
Because if you're speaking it out loud with amongst the assembly, then that's for everybody. We need to know what you're saying. How we know you ain't finna snap out and murder everybody? Huh? How we know you ain't no undercover Muslim talking about some Allah Akbar, you got a dynamite vest off? You don't know. You feel me? And for you to be in the spirit where the Most High God don't want me to know, that's the scriptures say increasing knowledge, man. Increasing knowledge and understanding. What you mean he don't want you to know?
No doubt.
What scripture is that? He don't want you to know. You ain't got it. So we got the Pentecost even in what's called the New Testament, right? Now we're gonna end it with the Jubilees and Jubilees 6:35-38. I got that on my phone. Can you pull up Enoch 73?
Yeah, I got
1 through 11, and both show that the days are actually 364 days. And if that's the case, then you have to bring into account the course of the sun. Feel me? The sun don't have a 354-day cycle like the moon. You know what I'm saying? The sun is either 364 or 365 days. And once the sun is done with its circuit, that's when the year is complete. It just is what it is. You feel me? They both work together. You feel me? To give signals and signs of seasons that's on the earth. For us to be like, okay, that's what time it is. So that ancient knowledge has been lost, actually. You feel me? Because we're not taught to even know anything about that. You just know it's Augustus Caesar, August. It's Julius Caesar, July. It's Octavius Caesar, October. That's all you know. You understand? They tampered with your perception of time. Matter of fact, you can grab me Daniel 7 if you can, Jeremiah. Daniel 7, 25 when you get the chance. We're going to pull up Enoch 73, 1 through 11. We show you he shall think to change times and laws. That's his thought. See that? He's going to think to change times and laws. But man doesn't have the power to change time. All he do is tamper with your perception of time. Daylight savings time and set you out your clock back and your clock forward. That's them. That's them. All right. I need Daniel 7, 25. Bro gonna pull that up. We're gonna end it with the Jubilees. I got the Jubilees 6, a few verses right here too. And then we're gonna close out. We shows y'all to count, how to count. Why we teach what we teach. You understand? So if anybody, well, why y'all days different? This is why. This is why. You feel me? We look at the new moon slightly different. They may observe the new moon a day or two before us. So our feast day is gonna be a day or two after theirs. Right? Well, unless they then flip like the one count and claim that the full moon is the new moon, but we even showed y'all, according to Sirach 50 and Sirach 39, Sirach 50 and 6 and Sirach 39 and 12, that the scriptures talk about a full moon. See, they talk about a full moon, they talk about a new moon. You dig? So there's a difference. The full moon can't be the new moon. That's a new doctrine. Well, some of y'all follow their camp out there, y'all know what I'm talking about, but that's a brand new doctrine. Them niggas, I remember when they came out with it. They just came out with it like the last year or the year before that. Maybe the year before that, maybe 3 years ago. But that's a brand new doctrine in Israel, that the full moon is the new moon. We ain't read that. According to Enoch 78 and 12, the new moon is the first light upon the moon. Then it went into how it increased to the full. And then how when it's void of light, it's actually the end of the month. The only other witness we got to that is a resource. When you're dealing with Philo, YahwehIsTruth.com, go all the way down to Philo of Alexandria, and he's talking about the new moon as well. And he's talking about when the first light appeared. Understand? Other than that, that's just what it is, and that's how we view it. You guys, Daniel 7?
Daniel 25.
Daniel 7 and 25.
25,
yeah.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25.
Yes, sir.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Yeah.
And think to change times and laws.
And shall think to change times and laws because they feel they're in rulership. He should speak great words against the Most High. He's been lying on the Most High for over 2,000 years. And shall wear out the saints, the ones that have been charged with teaching this word right here. That's going to turn up even more too. And she'll think to change times and laws. Think to change it. Think to change it. Man ain't got power over the times of God. You understand? Only the Most High got power over time. Man has never created a day. He's only tampered with your perception of it. I just wanted verse 25 out.
Let me finish it out.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time, and time shall be the dividing of time.
Yeah, for times, and a dividing of times, which is a certain time period to where what? We're going to be persecuted for this. 3.5 years. You feel me? We're going to be persecuted for it. Other spots say 1260 days, 3.5 years, 1290s, all type of numbers up there. You know what I'm saying? But that time is coming. All right, so look, you got the Enoch, right?
Yeah.
Let's read the Enoch. First book of Enoch, chapter 73, 1 through 11. And Enoch, chapter 72 through 82 is the book of the heavenly luminaries. Get into it. Get into it. Now, it's meat. A lot of people can't receive it. You understand? But it's the truth. It's the truth. You understand? There's not another biblical record that go into in-depth detail about the heavens of the Most High God. You understand? You got different spots like in Job. Job get deep. You understand? That Enoch, boy. Yeah, when they get into them heavens and them portals, you understand? And them gates and them circuits and this part of the day with it, man, look, boy, you talking about you doing some heavy meditation after that. Like, what was he saying about the day with the yeah. All praises. All right. So let's read this, Hebrew.
We got the first book of Enoch. Chapter 73 and verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is named the moon.
Hey, from Matthew Smith and Shalom, Hebrew. Yeah, we've been good. You must ain't been listening. You must be late to the broadcast. First book of Enoch 78 and 12. About the first light on the moon is the new moon. Also, YahwehIsTruth.com to back up that Enoch 78, 12 through 14. First book of Enoch 78, verse 12 through 14, and then go to YahwehIsTruth.com, Philo of Alexandria, you feel me, which was an ancient Israelite, vouches for the same thing and said the new moon was the first sign of the light. And as you read that Enoch, it's going to go into the full moon, as it's a full light, and by the time you get down to verse 14, it's going to go into it being void of light being the end of the month. So yeah, you must have just joined us, little bro. Shout out to you too. I'll be seeing you down there doing your thing. Torah fitness, do your thing, little bro. Proud of you too, because you've been growing. You dig? I've been peeping. You've been growing a little taste. So handle your business. But yeah, the first book of Enoch, chapter 78, 12 through 14, goes into the new moon being the first sliver of light on the moon. All right, come on, Hebrew, let's get it.
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And her circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and her chariot in which she rides is driven by the wind. And light is given to her in definite measure. And her rising and setting change every month.
Hey, look, start that over again from the top. Let's start that over from the top.
All right.
All praise.
Verse 1. It says, and after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is named the moon. And her circumference is like the circumference of the heaven. And her chariot in which she rides is driven by the wind. And light is given to her in definite measure. And her rising and setting change every month. And her days are like the days of the sun.
You talking about the moon?
Yeah.
You talking about the moon, that boy?
No doubt.
Rising and setting change every month, huh? Come on.
And when her light is uniform, full, it amounts to the 7th part of the light of the sun. And thus she rises, and her first phase in the east comes forth on the 13th morning. And on that day she becomes visible and constitute for the first phase of the moon on the 13th day, together with the sun in the portal where the sun rises. And the 1/2 of her goes forth by a 7th part, and her whole circumference is empty, without light. And the excerption of 1/7 part of it, and the 6/14 part of her light. And when she receives 1/7 part of the half of her light amounts to the 7th part of the half thereof.
Wait, boy, you talking about some deep astronomical and heavenly knowledge here, man.
No doubt.
But you got to really sit down and then, like, what is he saying here?
And I was even trying to break it down into the parts, and it's actually like 15 different shades of light that actually opens up into the moon itself from the sun, but the sun is increased by like 7 different types of light more than the moon, but 7 of the sun lessens and goes off and shines on the heavens. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the parts. You really have to do some there's really some math right
The
here.
most high heavens are beyond complicated. You feel me? People be thinking they just gonna get it based off them reading a few scriptures. You feel me? Like this man was initiated, Enoch, Hanuk, initiated. You feel me? Shown the mysteries and all that. So this ain't something you get, you know what I'm saying, sitting down one night and you just gonna fly through it. You feel me? You got people that straight study the heavens for years that can't comprehend this. All right? Astronomers.
That circumference, he said, it smashed that flat.
Man, hey, man, look. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, come on, Hebrew.
Verse 7. And she sets with the sun, and when the sun rises, the moon rises with him and receives the half of 1 part of light. And in that night, in the beginning of her morning, in the concernment of the lunar day, the moon sets with the sun, and is invisible that night with the 14 parts and the half of one of them.
What verse you in?
Verse 8.
Come on.
And she rises on that day with exactly a 7th part, and comes forth and recedes from the rising of the sun, and in her remaining days she becomes bright in the remaining 13 parts.
Come on.
I don't know what
Man, what you done did, man? You type in Enoch 73 verse. We need that verse 11.
Yeah, that was something different.
That's your janky phone, man. Y'all know our Ruben phones be all the way jacked. This brother just had a flip phone 2 weeks ago, man. Man, upgrade your phones, man.
Hey, man, you know this technology.
Man,
this
come on, man.
I hate the heathen, man. The heathen, you got wiretaps on everything. I can't even.
Like he Carlos later or something. Ain't nobody tapping your phones.
Hey, we don't know, bro.
Everyone act like he Pablo Escobar. Nobody worry about us. We po folk. Come on, man. Let's do this first book of Enoch. We need to put in Enoch 73, verse 10 through 11 or something like that. Enoch, y'all hold on. I want to show y'all the numbers of the day, 73.
Yeah, I just had that one up there.
This is broken. All right. Bang, pull that up. Enoch 73 chapter. Bang, pull that up. Right here, 73. All right, here we go. All right, handle your business, man. What verse was you in?
Here we go. We was at 8.
Come on, let's get it.
All right, we at 9. It says, and returns in 7 days to the 4th gate from which the sun goes forth. Thus I beheld their station, as according to the fixed order of the months.
According to the what?
The fixed order of the months.
The fixed order of the months.
The sun rise and sets. At those times, there is an excess of 30 days belonging to the sun in 5 years.
Yeah, you see that? Because the sun's circuit is longer than the moon. So why are we talking about months if it's only about the lunar, if it's only about the moon, but he bringing up the sun? See, you leaving the sun out, man. You feel me? They both work together. Sun, moon, and stars to bring about the Most High signal in his calendars on this earth right here. You have to have knowledge of both. All right, come on, Hebrew.
All the days belonging to each year of the 5 years when completed amount to 364 days.
Amount to who?
364 days.
Y'all see that? You see that? If you only doing the moon has a cycle every month of 29.5 days, man. You understand? With that math, you're only going to get at the most 354 days. That's not a complete year. A complete year is 364 and some change, which rounds up to 365 days, man. All right, go ahead, Al. What verse you in?
11.
That was the end of it?
No, it's not the end of it. It said, and to the sun and stars belong 6 days. 6 days in each of them, the 5 years, thus 30 days belong to them.
Oh,
that's it for
that's it for that. Now let's go to. I want you to read this whatchamacallit too. I got it on here. It's that Jasher. Jubilees. Please forgive me. I got it right here. Jubilees 6. We need to read 35 through 38. We're gonna close on that. Here it is right here. Jubilees 6. 35. You know it. You just won't see the 3 on the side of it. That's 35 right there. Say 5. Read all the way down to the end of it right there. Right there. This Jubilees chapter 6, 35 through 38. We're going to show how it lined right up with that first book of Enoch, chapter 73, 1 through 11. And those in chapter 73 was talking about the sun as well when we talking about the months. You see? The moon follows the sun. The year ain't over with until the sun finishes its course. That's just what it is. You understand? So we done went over the new moon. We done went over the full moon. We went over the count from Passover, following the Sabbath after Passover, down to the Feast of Weeks, Pentecost. We even showed if you just using the moon by itself and resetting your Sabbaths every month, you only going to, day after your 7th Sabbath is 42 days, not 50. You understand? And that right there is something that no lunar Sabbath keeping brother has ever been able to explain. How do you get 50 days following the Sabbath after Passover if you reset your Sabbath for the next 2 or 3 months? How are you going to do that? After your 7th Sabbath, the next day should be day 50. You feel me? And it ain't. They come up short every time. Or if they tell you, well, we ain't going to count the exact new moon. We're going to count the week after the new moon when you're going to miss 50. You're going to be all the way up to 58 somewhere. Either way, you feel me? It don't give you 50 after 7 complete Sabbaths. That's just what it is. All right, you got that out?
Yeah, in verse 35.
Yeah.
It says, for I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto thee.
Yeah.
And it is not of my own devising. For the book lies, the book lies written before me. And on the heavenly tablets, the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles after their error.
After the feast of the Gentiles after their error. You feel me? Because you're not paying attention to the oracles or the signs that the Most High gave us. All right, go ahead, Al.
And after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons, and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. For this reason,
do what? How many days too soon?
10 days too soon.
10 days too soon. Why? Because you're only tripping off the lunar or the moon. The moon has a cycle of 354 days. The sun is 364. So we say you observing things 10 days early. Feel me? So after what? After 3 years, you're gonna be 30 days behind, which is a month. After about 9 years, you're gonna be 3 months back. You see? You're gonna be losing time. You're not gonna be able to keep up. And then once you do that, once you're 3 months back, you in a different season. You feel me? A season is 3 months. Come on, Hebrew.
Right, verse 37. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day, the day of testimony.
You see that right there? Make an abominable day, the day of testimony, because we only following one ordinance that God gave and not his entire calendar. Right? It ain't our fault the calendar and details laid out in Enoch and not nothing else you read. You really left to come up with your own understanding. Dang, the new moon must be that. You feel me? But Enoch put it on the line. Jubilees and them put it on the line. Like, look, this is what it is. All right, go ahead, Al.
And an unclean day, a feast day.
Make an unclean day a feast day. Because he done told you the full moon is the new moon. So if he done did that, then you totally backwards. You feel me? You like 14 days. You like 14 days. You like 2 weeks off. Or you got somebody else that's just doing the sun that was 2 weeks too early. You're not using both, man. They work together.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Al.
And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean.
The holy with the unclean. Crazy, man. Go ahead, Al.
And the unclean day with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death, thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only.
They will not make the year 364 days. You see me? Because you're only dealing with one ordinance that the Most High God gave. That said that in Enoch, and this is in Jubilees. This is in Jubilees. You feel me? Because you're only dealing with one ordinance and not the entire calendar the Most High gave. Your timing is off.
Well, this is a dagger here, bro.
Timing is off. Go ahead.
It say, and for this reason they will go wrong.
They will go.
They will go wrong as to the new moon and season.
See, so and yeah, we've been going wrong to the new moons. You feel me? Brothers been thinking this is a dark moon. We just read Enoch when it's void of light is the end of the month. The first sign of light is light coming out of darkness. That's the new moon. We just read it. right? They will go wrong after the new moons and seasons. Go ahead, Doc.
And seasons, and Sabbaths, and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh.
Y'all see that? Utter madness, you dig? So for the most part, y'all, that's it, and what we was gonna go into. But we want to really show y'all, because Ruben hit me up. Maybe he's talking about the count, and then showing, you know what I'm saying, phases of the moon and all that, and why we keeping the Feast of Weeks May 27th. You understand? Exactly 7 weeks. 7 weeks and 1 day after, you feel me, your count after Passover. The Sabbath following Passover, that next day you start your count. All right? Passover again was March 31st at evening. For us, that's going into Sunday. So we wouldn't start our count until the day after the following Sabbath. Day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way down to day 50. We land on May 27th. We even did it with the new moon, when you see these question marks and them counting their Sabbaths. And after 7 Sabbaths in 1 day, they end up with 42 days right here. They end up with 42 days right here. And not right here, May 27th. You see that? So we pray y'all got some understanding. All praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Honor and glory of his only begotten beloved Son. And understand this, like we opened up in Colossians 2, we say, let no man judge you. So if you understand it, you're understanding a different way, or you keeping it another way, salute. At least you're trying your best. You understand? We ain't gonna take your head off for it, but if you want to know why we teach what we teach, this is why. This is why. And based off the scripture we just went through, this is why. Some may be offended. Some may say, F y'all, nigga, whatever. Love you too. Bless you and your entire household. It's all good. You understand? But take down the scriptures we went over, play the video back, write the scriptures down, study them, ask the Most High to give you understanding in all things, and He will. You understand? As long as you stay sincere and righteous in your intent, the Most High got us, man. Ain't nothing to trip off of. Stay focused out here. Understand? Long live the King. You got something you want to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, hey, I checked something out, and I'm gonna say a couple of things towards it. I was listening, and I was hearing a couple people say something about this flat Earth, stuff like that, right? And I was just checking out a couple of things. I checked out something, a video that I was shown about the flat Earth. It was like a space rocket. Them was supposed to have shot up in the earth so fast, and this space rocket that's supposed to shoot up in the earth so fast was supposed to prove the fact that the earth was flat and had the barrier up top. Well, what this thing did is shot up so fast, and we know it's got like fuel in it, it's electronic, it's so many different things. Like it hit the top, of something, just heard the noise, boom, and it stopped. No blow up, no anything. It just hit the top and stopped.
And just what, fizzled out like a dud?
Yeah, now we know for sure. Don't nothing do that. It's not that fast, not nothing. I can't get at the top of the roof and take my lighter and drop it. It's gonna explode. And that's not even far. You know what I'm saying? So you say you take something, shoot it up so far high, it blows up. Okay, but that don't happen. All right, but then again, they show us a picture of a grid. Inside the grid has degrees, points on it. If you're a person that reads grids, you will understand the circle degrees. It's like a circle in the middle of it. It has a point. That point has to be measured, but can't no man measure the depth of the sea at all. You know what I'm saying? He can't go that far down. Why? It's made at a different elevation. You know what I'm saying? So we got to take elevation into the situation when we're looking at the different things from the top to the bottom. It has the top and it has the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You got these, but you got these. So you got to make it in full 360. The man will have to know the distance from the top and the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Now to get those, it goes all the way around because both of them have an east and a west. West and east, east to west, whichever. You know what I'm saying? But to get the full circumference, you got to know the bottom. Man don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So he can't really be using flat. And then again, it's like a place called the Bering Strait. Now, this does not exist. It don't exist. This can't exist, not on the flat Earth. Because on the flat Earth, for me to get from Russia to Alaska, it should take this should be the longest trip ever. Like nobody in a flat Earth, being Russia is over here, and Alaska, you got Russia here, You get when you got Russia over here, you got Alaska over here. This should be the furthest trip ever. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's almost like St. Louis and the Mississippi splitting St. Louis and East St. Louis with the Bering Strait. Now, if that is the case, then how could that be with a flat Earth? If the Earth is flat, then it should take me the longest time from this tip of Russia to this tip of Alaska. It should take me some days, maybe about a week, maybe 2 weeks to get there. You know what I'm saying? But it don't. It's not even a couple hour trip.
I mean, let's explain the lunar and solar eclipse. And then, you feel me, maybe you might have some type of argument because it don't take a genius to look and see the sun. It's not a flat circle, nor the moon. That's not a flat circle. You understand? It's clear. You can clearly see that the sun and moon are actually ball shaped, both of them. Right now, a little research will show you that if we talking about a lunar or a solar eclipse, you talking about when the sun, moon, and the earth line up and they cast a perfect shadow on one another. How can something flat, if the earth look like this, right? What y'all saying? Y'all saying the earth look like this?
Yeah.
This is what everybody's saying. The earth looks like this. A CD, flat, right? But the sun is a ball and the moon is a ball. When these three line up, a perfect shadow covers the ball, covers either the sun or the moon, and you got a solar or what's called a lunar eclipse when the sun, moon, and earth line up. When they line up, you get what's called an eclipse. How can something this shape cast a perfect shadow on two objects that are round like a ball? Now you say, was it an invisible dome? It's invisible. How the hell is an invisible dome casting a shadow? It's invisible. You dig? But that's just something, you know what I'm saying? Everybody asks about the solar and lunar eclipse. I never get an answer. Never. How is something that's like that's shaped like a CD?
Right.
Y'all saying this is the earth right here. Something that's shaped like a CD casts a perfect shadow on two objects that are spheres. Huh? This can't cast a perfect shadow. Look at it. You see it going up and down my arm right there. Right? That's not going to cast. It's not the shape of my arm, so it's not going to cast a perfect shadow to cover my arm.
No doubt.
You see that? In order for the earth and the sun and moon to line up and the perfect shadow either blocks out the moon or blocks out the sun, the earth would have to be the same shape. You understand? Something flat can't cast a circular, a perfect shadow on two objects that are a sphere. But hey, you know, but look, there ain't no salvation issue either. I try to be cool with these brothers, but they, nigga, NASA mean to see. NASA also means to lift up. Get your Hebrew up, man. NASA also means to lift up. Get your Hebrew up. It don't just mean to deceive. It's spelled different too when you pull out the Hebrew letters. But NASA also means to lift up. It don't just mean deceive, man. So with that being said, all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High. Another Monday quarterbacking. You know, we ain't been doing them in the mornings. You did. Another Monday quarterback. We pray y'all got edification. We pray y'all got understanding. All praise to Yahweh El Elyon. That's the Lord, the Most High God. Yah, the Most High God, King of the universe, King of Israel, in the name and glory of His only begotten beloved Son, who's currently sitting at His right hand right now as we speak. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
2018 year of the truth, man. Strap back up. Yahoo. Shalom.